Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Well, hello. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. Go ahead and say hello to the dream team. We have Amber and Jenny and Lindsay in the house, of course. And I see our sweet Gloria from Mexico here. So good to have you here, Gloria. Vanessa, Kathy, Alice, good to have you here. Our Martha is here. Yay, Martha. And who else? We've got Deborah and Diane. And there is our Sarah. Yay. You know what? We're counting down over here. Do you know that full bloom, right, happening here, is happening in just, 22 days? 3 weeks, y'all. 3 weeks. What do you think of that? Jeanette, Jennifer, Joanne, and Gracie, are you ready for full bloom? I am going to tell you right now that we are booking up really quickly. Of course we are. And that we have just this much room for a couple of other people. Now, you know how it is. You know how it is to make a decision to do something like this. It involves airplanes, it involves reservations and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm going to tell you though, the treats awaiting our attendees here are just beyond anything we have ever done. And I mean, it brings tears to my eye. And we have been plotting, we have been planning glittery boat shoes to go out on Wanda. I can't wait. I can't wait to see them, Sarah. The whole thing is just going to be absolutely amazing. And it's going to be good for our virtual people. We're going to live stream virtually as well. But let me tell you something. She who is here is going to get quite a treat because it, again, like nothing we've ever done. So just keep that in mind. If you're just having this inkling of, ooh, I'd kind of like to be there, savingdinner.com/bloom. That's where it is. Well, you know what, Gloria? I will take you in Mexico. Virtually happy to have you there. It's just, I'm just going to be delighted that everybody's there. And you'll get to meet, well, guess what? You'll get to meet Jenny and you're going to get to meet Amber as well. Amber's going to be here as well. And my daughter Caroline will be here. She will be shooting the whole thing. So it's going to be so much fun and just everything. So my heart is full and I'm so delighted I'm really starting to gear up. I've been spending a lot of time in prayer, research, meditation, and just immersing myself in what's happening. Our theme this year is You Are Not the Enemy. This was chosen because we did a couple of years ago, we did You Are Enough, I Am Enough. But you can't be enough if you see yourself through the lens of being an enemy, if you are constantly battling yourself, if you're constantly disconnected from yourself and blaming and putting yourself down, and there's this conversation in your head of beyond not enoughness, but just not in the place of where you need to be. I'll tell you more about that as we get closer to the date, but it's something that just really rang true in my heart. And I really wanted to dispense a lot of this because I believe it's a very huge obstacle that holds us back from being these women that are supposed to show up in full bloom. We are supposed to show up in full bloom. Otherwise, we wouldn't be planted here on this earth. We need to show up in full bloom. Here's a great little nugget for you. Success is giving 100% to your effort, your body, your mind, and your soul to the struggle. We all have a struggle in front of us, don't we? Have you noticed that? It's not easy. and the struggle's real. But when we give ourselves 100% to it, then we don't have to go back with regret and say, I didn't give it my all. Giving it your all is something that we need to regularly put ourselves in the place and say, have I done it? Not to the place, of course, of just being wrung out and thrown on the floor like an old dead mop, kind of a thing, but to the place of knowing that you gave it your best shot, And speaking of giving my best shot, yesterday, as you know, we had a recorded show. I was able to get my first pickleball lesson, and they're very difficult to get around here. So I snapped up the chance and went. Mark came with me because what you're doing is you're setting up the court so that you have plays, and we play doubles. And man, I was so excited about this. I was like a kid on Christmas. So excited about this. I did everything. I was all ready to go. I was like, Mark, we're going to be leaving on time. Don't you mess this up. Don't you decide we need to go do something. We will not be late. So finally get there. We have a discussion ahead of time before, like talking about strategy, and this is what you do, and this is why you do these things, and talking through some of these things. And then we got onto the courts. And there was a serve, and I was supposed to learn how to respond to like certain setups for the return serve. And I swung it with everything I had. Y'all, I landed on my right hip, and I have a bruise of epic proportion on my hip. I fell so hard because I swung, and I knocked the wind out of myself just a little bit. Oh, I'm fine. Let's keep going. And then I'm sitting there huffing and puffing going, what the heck just happened here? Have you ever done something like that where it just took you unaware? So ladies, can I just say something to you? This is a time when we are taking care of our bones and we're taking care of our muscle. It's my muscle and my bone that protected me. You can barely see this bruise. I can feel it all the way in. I can feel it, but you can barely see it. That I'm crediting all that collagen that I take and all the things that I do, and also taking a ton of InfloCrusher afterwards. Really, it was Sarah. I was playing full out, but I was just like, how did I end up here? And I've been using sunscreen and coconut oil and stuff like that, because coconut oil also acts as a little bit of a sunscreen. But I use this spray, Sun Bum. It's really good, by the way. It's the only spray that it's not a dirty spray. A lot of these sunscreens, these are dirty sprays, by the way. I'm telling you this because I want you to look at your sunscreen. So many of our sunscreens are not allowed in the European Union because they're carcinogenic. I wonder what the connection is between putting that stuff on your skin and all the skin cancer that we have here. I don't know. So I'm not against sunscreen. I'm against using the wrong sunscreen. Sun Bum is the one that I recommend. It's in a white can, and it's zinc and has a few other things that come out, and it's been really great. But you can see, look how tan I am. I've been getting really tan, and that's just, a few hours out there with sunscreen. So this is just letting you know what it is. Fell on my butt. And I left a big greasy mark with coconut oil on the court. Isn't that so much fun? I had to share it with you just because now I'm laughing about it, but at the time I was just like, man, and it was so embarrassing too, because this guy who was teaching us, and Mark was there too. I mean, he's a 5.0 player. He plays tournaments and has won stuff and from all over. He lives here too, but he, goes out and does tournaments. And I just was like, boy, do I feel really, are you sure you want to teach me? Can't even stay on my feet. Gotta laugh. Also, all of our announcements, by the way, are on the announcement page. And that's at savingdinner.com/announcements. So you can find all the links for Full Bloom if you missed it, the link for the supplement of the week. This is our last week of supplement of the week, by the way. We're taking a hiatus this summer. Just decided that. Because you know what? We're having a re-evaluation of all of our supplements right now and going through a few things and a few iterations, a few changes. But I just want to let you know, if you like our supplement of the week, if you want to see better big deals and things like that, let us know, But supplement of the week, it's going to be on vacation. Right now, you can buy two, get one free of the Buy 2, get 1 free of the Vibrant Body supplement. It's fantastic. Detox, I love it. I take it myself every single night, along with my probiotic and sleepies, of course. Um, so I have that to tell you. And there's a whole lot more, and it's all on that page. And it's on savingdinner.com/announcements. Okay. I know I bored you to death with my pickleball stories, but prepare yourself. It's coming because I love me some pickleball. I'm going live also right now on TikTok. Hello, TikTok, and welcome. And hello to everybody on Facebook and also on YouTube. Thank you again for joining me for Thirsty Thursday. Okay, you ready? We've been talking about measurement this week. Now, I don't know about you, but I find that when I measure in the kitchen, especially when I'm doing a new recipe, things go my way. When I think I can wing it, sometimes I find out maybe not so much. Now, there are exceptions, of course, to this rule. I will tell you, did you guys know in the 80s, I used to have my own catering business. And one of the big things back in the 80s was making pesto for everything. I can totally eyeball and do a pesto recipe without using a recipe. I know how much basil to put in. I know how much pine nuts, the garlic, salt, pepper, the olive oil. I know this. I know this recipe backwards and forwards. But if I find something and this looks good, and I find something on the internet or something like that, I will not have that same kind of latitude with that recipe. I don't know it very well. I don't know it at all. I've never made it before. So I'm going to follow it to the letter. This is how we get to learn, by the way. And when we get to learn and when we get to do, that's when we can be a little bit more gentle with what it is that we want to do. We can have a little bit more latitude, especially if we're experienced in the kitchen and what have you. But this week, like I said, we've been talking about the magic of measuring and how it is so impactful for when we understand how to use it carefully, how to use it purposefully, and how to allow the measuring to really help us and not, push us back. We've also been talking about the proper measurement tools and the tools that are not helpful at all. And all this week, I've been dropping broad hints. You gotta use the time block sheet, right? Because time blocking teaches us all kinds of things about ourselves, about where our time is really going, and it gives us the impetus to either change things up or to realize, oh my gosh, I really do have more time than I thought. I really could cut back on this because I don't think in a way of we're wanting to purposefully be dishonest to ourselves, but we grossly underestimate oftentimes how much time maybe we've spent on Netflix or our phones or whatever, right? I know I do. And then we overestimate how much time we've spent doing these things that, are in our favor. So I remember this when I didn't have my phone with me when I was doing all these. I must have walked like 6 miles. Well, I came back and, the next day put my phone in my leggings and did, I've got pockets. By the way, never have a legging without pockets. Am I right? Pockets are an absolute must. This is how you carry the poop bags. This is how you carry the bear horn. I have a bear horn just in case there's a bear. There's bears everywhere around here. I have, what else do I carry with me? I have my earbuds. They're in my ears. I have all my things. You just have your little stuff. Pockets. If I didn't have pockets, disaster. So we have to measure our time the right way and we have to measure our distance. We have to measure certain things the right way so that we can have a general understanding of what's going on. And I found that my 6 miles was actually more like 4.5. Overestimated. Amen. Amber says, and dresses with pockets. Everything should have pockets. Pockets are important. Plus, I don't like carrying a great big purse. It's really bad for your posture. Did you know that? It's really bad for your posture. I don't need that. So, big purses, I carry a little bitty bag. It's flat. And I used it always for travel. And now I use it for all the time because I don't want a big, humongous, heavy bag. Just this little bag little place for credit card, little place for my phone, everything just zip, zip, all fine. And it's, this big. Love it. Don't want to pockets help me with all the things. So here's something though that we need to take into consideration. Like my example of how much I was walking around the lake, my estimate being so off. We have to make sure that we're measuring the right way, right? There are ways to measure. In research, a decision needs to be made at the beginning on what should be measured. Have you noticed that? Everything, all the research is measuring something. And they need to make sure, what are our metrics going to be for this? Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of the experiment? What's the point of doing this whole thing? They want to know, they assess what specific variables are going to create the most significant outcomes, right? In other words, what's going to be the most impactful, right? Of course, we want to know what's going to be the most impactful. And when it's you and I, and we're out there, I mean, this is how we get to this place of all these brain hacks and shortcuts and this, that, and the other thing. And we're looking for it. We're scrolling for it. We are looking it up on TikTok. We're looking it up on Facebook. We're trying to find the shortest distance to get to that thing that we want to do, whether it's some kind of cleaning hack or some kind of food hack or whatever it is. That's what we want to know. Sure. I mean, we're all geared that way. So if we can do that and find that, then we need to know how to measure that in the most effectual way. But what we also need to understand too, and hear me on this because this is critical and important, that each one of us lives very different lives. So here's the thing, and I've seen this, gosh, I've seen this how many times, where women, I see it on especially on TikTok, they'll say like, in order to do X, you need to do this. And then they start naming all these things because that is what worked for them, especially like these weight loss experts and all of this, because that is what worked for them. Well, not everybody's the same. Not everybody has periods, for example. Not everybody is postmenopausal, for example. You can't blanket statement everything. You just can't. What you need to do is you need to start adjusting things according to what your situation is. So keep that in mind. I mean, this is very obvious. So when we're talking about women and, the cycles of life, but as it pertains to what your life looks like, what does your daily life look like? Does your daily life look like you're running around with toddlers all day? Or does your daily life look like you are, you're home, you're retired and you're trying to get a grip on what to do with your time and how to, shift things around a little bit? Or, are you a lady of leisure just wondering where to go to lunch? I'm sure you're not. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But we have to recognize that some people have every minute accounted for, pretty much because of where they are in this time of their lives. And, remember this too, that things shift all the time. Our lives change all the time. We're always in some kind of a season. And therefore, what worked for you when you're in your 20s and your 30s, and even maybe into your 40s, isn't going to work for you when you're in your 70s or your 60s or your 50s or wherever it is that you are. And in our world, here at Saving Dinner and living the full bloom life, we give each other a whole lot of latitude for that and reminders. And saying it's important that you customize what it is that you're doing according to where you are in your life. There are people here, and I know one, I see one right now, Joanne, who are caregiving for their elderly parent. We know some that are taking care of all kinds of little children. Our Amber is a busy mom. We know people who are doing all of that, and that takes up a lot of time, necessarily, right? Necessarily. And it's the most important work that you'll ever do. It's the most caring, giving, loving thing you'll ever do. Raising little beings into being responsible adults and taking care of somebody who did the same thing for you toward the end of their lives. This is what it's all about. And this is a transportation of our human souls into being empathetic, loving, and giving. And it's hard. It's very, very difficult work. It's thankless most of the time, but I will tell you with my full heart and lots of love to you, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. But the one thing that we can all agree on, am I right on this, is that we can never really be sure of how much time we have. We can never be sure of that. Mick Jagger famously sang the song, Time is on our side. Remember that? Time is on our side? Yes, it is. This is what he said. But only if we see our time as the precious commodity that it is. It is a precious commodity, and it's a gigantic unknown. A gigantic unknown. So time is not only a measurement, it's a currency. That's how I look at it. It's a currency. Do you know, have you ever lost money and just were frantic, like, where did that cash? I know I've got, there's $100 bills in this house. Hey, Dana, good to see you. My neighbor from Asheville, right over here on TikTok. Fun. But, have you noticed that? Have you noticed that when you lose money, I mean, the frantic, the feeling, oh my gosh, where is it? And all of that. Yeah, we know what that is. But we know that quantity, but yet how wasteful we are with our time, and we have no idea how much more we're going to be given after that. We know that we're going to get another paycheck, right? We know that we can go earn more money. We know that money can be replaced. It can be replaced. Yeah, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to do this and whatever. And I get that. I'm not saying that just, I have a money tree in my yard. Not. What I'm saying though is it is replaceable. Your time is not. It is a precious commodity. So spend it wisely the way that you would cash, the way that you would something that is important to you. We don't need to be wasting it. We need to be investing it. We don't need to be killing it or just sitting there and just, well, I've got some time to kill. I hate that expression with all of my being. Really? You have time to kill? I don't. I don't know how much I have. And either do you. So let's keep in mind how precious time is. We have an opportunity at any time to redeem the time. And by the way, I have an idea for you. Those of you who have to do a lot of waiting, set yourself up a little bag and call it the redeem the time bag of things and activities that you can do that are more than just sitting there endlessly scrolling on your phone, like a crochet project or a knitting project or a good book to read, your journal, a meditation guide or a book to read. I mean, there's endless things that you can do, but have a redeem your time bag, Bonus, by the way, I just came up with that idea. I don't like to see anybody just regret spending their time in such a way that you're looking back and thinking, oh, there was so much time I could have really used and put toward a relationship or something, that was a whole lot more fruitful than a lot of garbage that's out there. So if you recall, we have been talking again about time blocking, and today I got a couple of instant messages. I guess that's how it is, from Facebook saying, "Can you explain the time block sheet a little bit more?" Okay, and I thought, okay, you always think, well, everybody understands how that works. Not necessarily. I want to get through what that is, how you can get it, even though we've been talking about it all week, and some tips on how to use it and how to really fill it out. And I have, as a matter of fact, in tomorrow's Daily Dish show, you're going to get 2 examples of somebody whose time is just being frittered away and went woo, and somebody else who said, okay, let's redeem the time and let's fix this up. And those are 2 examples, and they will be, they're actually photos of sheets that I made up. They will be in the Daily Dish show, the Daily Dish newsletter tomorrow. So if you don't get our newsletter, easy to do, go to savingdinner.com. And right there, you'll get a little pop-up that says, do you want it? Do you want my newsletter? And you're going to say, well, I do. That's how that whole thing works. So here's the thing. Oh, say it's at savingdinner.com/time, by the way, if you want and you can print it off and do all of that. So um, I want you to, it's a simple tool that's going to help you get a visual of where you are, right? And once you get that visual of what it is, then you're going to be able to start creating the day that you want. You can't create the day you want without knowing where you start. It's sort of like saying, hey, I want to go to England, and you get on, you get on with a travel agent, or you get online, and if you don't have a starting place, you can't book that ticket, can you? You might know exactly where you want to go, but if you don't have a starting place, you're not getting there. And that's the same thing for us. We've got to have a starting place. I know what you want. You want vibrancy, right? Isn't that what we all want? I know that's what I want. But in order to get there, we've got to start with where we are. So let's do that. And I've got 7 things that are going to help you out. Okay? 7. So write these down. Use goals. All right. Now, goals can be extraordinarily hard, right? Goals can be intimidating, overwhelming, way too much. And this is why we do our goals at 12 weeks, right? We have right now, Take Back Your Life journals are not available. They will be soon. Take Back Your Life journals use a 12-week approach. We use this concept from the 12-week year. But we take it a step further, and we take it into I am statements, and we drill everything down into small statements that we use every day in order to imprint on our brains what it is that we want and to actually accomplish these things. I will tell you, it's life-changing. It is life-changing. And it's 3 affirmation goals that you drill down from 6 ideas. I will be doing a masterclass on this whole thing when the new one comes out and what have you. So just buckle up and wait for that one, okay? So goals, we have to have some kind of a goal. And even if you just start with something vague, vague is better than nothing. We can always refine later. Number 2 is you need to schedule your time and the stuff that you want to get done for that day in your most productive time. So when is your most productive time? Some people's most productive time is in the morning. That's for me, that's what it is. In the afternoons, can I just tell you, I could use a little nap. Oftentimes I'm making myself a little cup of wise woman's tea or whatever, but I'm going to tell you that you know when it is the best for you. And please do not tell me that it's, at midnight or something like that, because you know how I feel about being a night owl. We need to get to this place of scheduling our stuff, though. We have a perpetual to-do list going? I know I do. So if we can take that to-do list and schedule it and put it into our day and treat everything like a doctor's appointment, you'll be surprised at how easily this translates into getting things done. You've blocked the time for that important task. That's important. Number 3 is remember that your to-dos then have to also connect up to those goals. Now, not everything is going to, but sometimes it's a little indirect. Let me give you an example. Let's say one of your goals is, I want to eat healthier so I can feel better, right? That's a good goal. We can quantify that and whatever later, but let's get some more vegetables in. So if on your goal is to eat healthier, and yet you have a grocery list going, what does that have to do with everything? It has to do with everything, because now you're making your grocery list according to your goals. See what I mean? You get right into the weeds there. Number 4 is once you get that sheet downloaded, make about 5 or 6 of them. Keep them, because you will notice. And by the way, you know what this is? This is a pencil. Use a pencil on these things with a big fat eraser on the end. Pencils are wonderful for this exercise because it's going to help you to really, 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 really see. And this is one of the most, I know I've talked a lot about it, but I'm going to keep talking about it. This was a needle mover for me in my life because I didn't realize how much I wasn't looking at what I was doing or spending my time. Or I'd look at the clock and go, oh my gosh, look, it's 4 o'clock already. What have I done today? Do you want that? We don't want that. That is not redeeming our time. That is not honoring of our time either. So that's really important. So copy off those sheets, yeah, and have those aside and then bring them out as you need them and start over. Number 5 is make sure that you create an evening and a morning and an evening routine. We call them rituals. And the reason why we go to this place of ritual, I mean, making your bed and all that kind of stuff, right? We get it, right? Just kind of start the day with a clean slate. But what about you? Meditating, journaling, spending some time, in a little contemplation. It's like having a date with yourself. And first thing in the morning, when you have that meditative time, it is a time to quiet your soul and to really connect in with who you are. I love that time, and I would not trade it for all the tea in China. And it is a great way to start the day. I'm ready. I check my schedule for the day. I have certain little things that I do. I invite you to check that out and to try that yourself. It does make such a huge difference. And then in the evening, setting up for the next day and all of that. We have that again. That's going to be all in the Take Back Your Life journal. I'm happy to share that with you once the journal comes out. Number 6 is strive for excellence and not perfection. We've had this discussion a lot, but it's important when we're looking at this because excellence is something that it can be truly measured. Perfectionism cannot, because there is no getting there. You can't accomplish that. You can with excellence. You can put a metric on that. You cannot with perfection. So make sure that you're doing this because this is how we roll. As excellent women doing the best that we can with what we've got. Are you kidding me? This is the most important thing that we can do. And it's a way for us to see things with a different lens. Massively important. And number 7, on a day that you might have extra time, maybe, it's not quite as caught up with everything else that you're doing, do some chunking of time-consuming things. So I don't think I've told you this, but my Lincoln is a silver lab. Silver labs are chocolate dilutes. And one of the problems that they have, unfortunately, is they have skin issues and they might have alopecia and lose their hair. Well, my doggie was starting to lose his hair, covered in a red rash, scabby. I was spending a boatload on all these fancy dog foods. And then when, we were last Christmas, we were visiting family and, everybody brought their dogs. It was like a kennel there. I'm telling you, it was terrible, but everybody brought their dogs and I could not believe this dog's coat. This dog felt like silk. It was a golden retriever. And I had a golden retriever once upon a time. My dog never felt like this. I just could not stop petting this dog. And turned out he had a raw diet. And I watched the owners make his food for him. And, he ate people food. And I kind of looked at that and I don't want to do all that, kind of a thing. And time went on. And here we are. We are now 2 months into me cooking for my dog. And his coat is all grown in. Skin rashes are all gone. And he's starting to shine. He's on his way to that silky coat. So it's very interesting. I also give him vitamin. I have a whole supplement thing that I give him our supplements, believe it or not. But all of that, I have all of that. And believe me, I will give you, if anybody's interested, I'll give you the lowdown on what it is that I do. But it's changed him and it's made a believer. Mark was just like, I don't know about this. Now he's quite a believer. But I batch cook his food. I batch cook his sweet potatoes. I steam all that kale for him. I get big bags of kale and steam that up. And I make millet for him as well. So those are always the bases. And then I change up I add salmon oil and I add, the different proteins that I get. But let me just tell you something, big time difference, and also big time difference in the time that it takes me to do this because I batch cook. And this is one of the tricks in chunking your time. Batch cook, tackle a big project, take your time sheet, your time blocking sheet and say from X time to X time, we're going to do this for the garage, for the attic, for the whatever. We're getting ready. Like I said, full bloom is coming. We're getting ready for that. You should see the hit list of everything that I have for us to do. It's a lot. So yay, that's just the way it's going to be. And that it just means that we have to start taking those chunks of time and start working on that. It's also a really good time, by the way, to just brain dump some ideas. And in your little time redemption bag, you might want to have a little pad in there or a place in your journal where you just dump some ideas of things that you could do, things for your home, things for your personal life, things for a relationship, a person to contact, but always having a place to kind of allow things to come out of your brain and onto paper is how we get them number one, we stop forgetting about it. And number two, we start adding it in to our lives and it starts to become part of who we are. I love that. It's a good time to meal plan too. I've got several people who hate meal planning. Wouldn't you know it? Who said over and over again, I just hate meal planning. And we have a tool for that. It's dinner answers. So that's right there on Saving Dinner. That's how we started, y'all. Saving dinner. We help people save dinner. We did the meal plans for you. It can be done. But, this is how we do this. This is how we redeem these big chunks of time. So instead of saying, I don't have time, now we find it. It's found right there. So I want you to look at tomorrow's daily dish. I have some, I'll show you some. No, I'm not going to show you. I want you to get it in the daily dish. But we'll show you two examples of time blocking sheets. One where the time is just like gone right through their hands, just right through their hands. And then number two, where the time has been redeemed. And you're going to see such a contrast there, and I think it'll really lighten you up. And, yesterday we talked about doing some multitasking type things where you can multitask. There's certain things you don't want to multitask, but if you're sitting in front of the TV, there are times that you can multitask a million different things. So what I want you to do is just start looking at this and start understanding that your time is so incredibly precious. Until you make a decision to redeem your time and to treat it as this precious commodity that it is, you will have regret. And that's not vibrant, is it? Is living with regret. I know that this is a lot on this whole time blocking sheet, and I feel like I've probably beaten that dead horse just a little bit, but it's that important. And if you start doing this, and if you start noticing a difference, let me know what you think, because I would love to be able to support you, help you out in any way that I can. And also just keep your eye out, especially if you're getting our Daily Dish newsletter, for our new Take Back Your Life journals. We've only ordered a small amount, but boy, are they going to be good. We're going to have a whole master class on it and everything, and I'm super excited for that. That's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you saw that there is a way to figure out that, yes, indeed, you do have enough time, because you do, right? So that's it for us for the week. We'll be back on Monday with more. You know how we show up on Motivational Mondays. You have a senior rescue dog with terrible skin issues? Alice, I can help you out. Just pop an email to support@savingdinner.com, and I will make sure that I give you my secret recipe. All right. Peace be with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.